haircut. So,
Okay.
starting the show,
What's up?
how was 276 to you, bud?
Honestly, like people have been just calling it an absolute flop, which I mean, I guess it kind of was, but I mean, I was there were some moments in it, but overall, it was just very mediocre. It only did like 400,000 buys or something like that.
You
It
know,
just
oh, go ahead.
and I mean the big issue, and I mean get to it in just a second, I guess, but the issue is Adesanya. Honestly, I mean, like
Wow.
he 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 promises these giant bangers every time he goes into a fight, and he just stands on the outside in circles all night long. And the thing is that he could do that to anybody in the world if he wanted to. He could just do
Except,
that all night
except
long,
Alex Pereira.
except for Alex Pereira. Yeah, my personal opinion. So Sean Strickland fucked up for sure. He
Well,
should he stood straight up with him, and he there's no way in their training and watching Pereira's film that they weren't like, okay, we gotta watch out for the left hook. Obviously, you gotta watch out for his left hook. It's his patent.
it's his second biggest move outside flying knee.
Yeah,
Hold on. Let me
dude.
pull this up real quick.
And Pereira is not just because knocking out Sean Strickland, but he is becoming probably one of the more polarizing figures in recent time because he's literally chasing Adesanya.
Yeah.
And he's from like the Amazon.
Hold
And
on.
like,
I'm about to put. Funny you say that right now while we're talking about. Let me share my screen. Let's share this because I have it right here. Look at this shit.
is that him?
That's him.
Can you zoom in on that at all? I can't really see it.
I can save image and then.
Yeah. But is he dressed up like his tribe, like
Yeah.
warriors in his tribe?
Yes. Look at that face.
It's confusing to me though because typically Amazonian natives aren't 6'4".
Well, he grew up in the favela. Both his parents are from like the Amazon.
Oh, okay. So I mean, we're talking like probably his great grandparents or something were like true Amazonians.
Look into his eyes.
He just it
Black,
seems
like
like
a doll's eyes.
it seems like he doesn't feel like any emotion. He's so monotoned and just mono emotion, not all the time. It's just like one feeling all the time, pure violence.
Yeah. I mean, he just seems like a guy who's like to himself. Like, there was a video. I couldn't find a way to get on my Instagram without like leaking my personal Instagram to it. But there was a bookmark. I couldn't find it anywhere on Twitter where the Glover Teixeira was talking to Pereira backstage, and like how he broke down his strikes was it sounded like a guy who was a two-time world like kickboxing champion. It was
Was he in his corner? Was Glover Teixeira in his corner?
probably, but Teixeira was like, "How'd you set it up?" And he said, "Look, Strickland has a strong as shit jab." And my counter to that was I intentionally set the whole like left hook up because I knew if I like got him once with a really good calf or thigh kick, and I could come back with two calf kicks. And he said the moment I knew he was hurt with that, I started trying to throw a straight to the body so that he would come forward the jab again. And the moment it looked like he was coming in, and Strickland would do a cross, little roll hook.
I'm glad the way that this is all playing out though with the middleweight division, because with Pereira chasing Adesanya, if he beats him, then the next guy in line to fight, I don't think Adesanya would get an immediate rematch. They haven't really been doing that with champions lately for whatever reason. But I mean, that kind of started with Stipe getting knocked out by Ngannou. He should have 1,000,000% had an immediate rematch, and champions before him used to get it, but they stopped doing that. But as far as how the middleweight division is playing out, if Pereira goes in there and knocks out Adesanya, which is, in my opinion, right now, extremely likely.
Yeah. Hey,
And
this is. Oh, go ahead.
it's
Sorry.
the first time that Pereira has to fight a wrestler, he's going to be fucked.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey,
Which I don't know if it's better for Adesanya to win or lose, because like I don't like him right now. Like I think he's extremely talented and he doesn't put it to use at all, really.
yeah.
He's way more talented than what he's been showing. I mean, like he hasn't had a real knockdown fight since he fought Gastelum.
Oh, hey, let me just say this with Pereira real quick though. This would be me if I was Pereira's corner. Oh shit.
Yeah, good. I mean it, kid. This guy's a friggin' animal. You see what he done to
And talking my soundboard up. But I mean, it's just like, hey, I'm gonna strike with a dude who has a fucking chin for days, is a length king, and has a touch of death in any fucking limb. Who, like, I don't care if he didn't start kickboxing until he was 21. Like, you know, like he's fucking murdered dudes every fucking which way, not even just power.
To be fair, too, like Adesanya, the 2 times that he fought him, he won rounds against him.
It doesn't matter if you win rounds if you can't carry it the fucking distance.
No, I know. I'm just saying. And MMA striking is a little bit different from pure traditional kickboxing striking, but Pereira has shown to transition with almost perfect ease. So I don't see Adesanya is going to have to fight him.
Yeah,
and
well, I mean,
he's going to have to fight him. Like, I mean, Pereira's going to he's gonna go in there to decapitate the guy,
because like there's like
so Adesanya, he has got to fight him. And if he doesn't fight him, he's going to get knocked out in brutal fashion.
Well, Adesanya's problem is for a guy who's a length guy, even against shorter fighters, he still allows too many shots. It's just that he's kind of had a good chin to this point. He's kept a good chin, but he still takes a little too many shots. How many shots of consequence? Yeah, not many. But like Pereira's the one guy you can't get hit. Because you know he's going to set it up because it doesn't take many to do significant damage. And the moment he does damage, he's just going to pick your guard. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
There's a fight I watched of his kickboxing where he got a fucking knee to the guard. He knocked the guy out cold through his own fucking guard.
I would really be interested to like if the UFC like started like a segment where they sent like athletes with UFC athletes with like abnormal power,
yeah,
and like had them like go through all these tests to see if they have higher bone density or whatever it may be, because they're just not the same,
yeah,
biologically as some like Anglo-Saxon motherfucker like me.
Well,
Like,
depends on Anglo-Saxon. I mean, shit.
Fury is a great example for Anglo-Saxons being fat and retaining power.
Well, I mean, my point was like, well, Tyson Fury is more an Irish gypsy than an Anglo, but
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, British boy trains in Manchester, trains with Tyson. His dad's the original BJJ guy of Britain. I'm blanking on his name. Heavyweight Aspinall. I mean, Aspinall has. I just think it. When guys who are really long with that power, it's usually they have like the upper part of their limbs are really well developed, but they have almost nothing like in the second point. So they have like really thin forearm, but especially with their legs, their calves are non-existent, but everything else of the legs fine. It's just long.
Aspinall is, God, I love that dude. He is so sick, and I cannot wait for him and Cyril Gane to fight. I think Aspinall takes him though.
Well, I think before that, because I think Gane's scheduled to fight Tuivasa.
Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah,
Tai Tuivasa.
Because honestly, you know what I'd do if I was UFC? Aspinall Steep or Stipe.
For the time being, yeah. I mean, Stipe hasn't fought. Honestly, at this point, like he hasn't fought in 2 years. Or well, when did he get knocked out by Ngannou? I guess almost 2
Year and a
years ago.
half.
Come close.
Well, because he had a knee injury after that, like, when he like the way he fell. And the other part
Yeah.
is like he also had other shit going on at the same time. So it's not like, keep in mind he signed a contract to fight John Jones, and John Jones never signed it.
Doesn't
It's not like
surprise me.
he isn't asking for a fight. It's just, if you're a young heavyweight, why the fuck do you want to fight Stipe?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a career derailer because he's still extremely good, but he's one of the old men of the division that would just absolutely.
He's not even that old.
He's like 36, 37, but about
Yeah, but
heavyweight.
like that's like
heavyweight.
slightly old. We're talking to him like Matt Brown fucking fought recently. He's like what, 43?
Yeah, I think him and Glover are the same age. I
Yeah,
think
like Matt,
42.
fucking Donald Cerrone hadn't fought since the fucking Obama presidency.
Well, I mean, he fought Connor
In 2016, pre-Trump. I'm not even joking. Look it up.
Connor, man. And anyway, the card was good. I'm trying to think. I mean, Volkanovski versus Holloway. I don't think Holloway just had any. I think going into the fight, he knew he didn't have anything for Volkanovski. I mean, Holloway's just not an explosive guy. He's a high volume guy, and if you're insanely explosive and fast like Volkanovski, you take these guys off guard, man. Like Ortega's kind of the same way. Someone that has like super crazy speed and explosiveness against these guys that are like high volume guys. It throws them off their rhythm almost instantly.
The best way to explain Volkanovski is what Holloway gets talked about as this great striker, but I mean, there's fucking levels. What Volkanovski did against Holloway was it was almost like it wasn't even like that great of a game plan because he had to switch it up halfway because he broke his right hand. And he immediately, for the rest of the fight, is fucking going traditional, southpaw, back to the ortho. Like, he just kept switching it up, and it was just, he was so.
He wasn't really fighting. He wasn't really fighting Holloway with a specific game plan.
No, he just was in there like banging. And, you know, as I said, there's fucking levels to this. And for a guy who broke his fucking hand, he didn't look like it.
No, I mean,
It's one of those like you just like notice, like, man, he's throwing a lot with that left.
a lot of the times they'll break it in like round 2 or something like that, and then they don't even notice until like round 4. They're like, "Oh crap, my hand is killing me." But like, I think it's as far as the featherweight division goes, it'll be kind of like. It'll kind of be like the middleweight division where it's like the two same guys at the top. And I think it'll always be Holloway and Volkanovski will always be top 2 or champion and number 1 because I mean, Holloway has ran through the division just like Volkanovski has. Yeah. So it's just, and with the middleweight division, I think Pereira and Adesanya will always be up there. It depends. I bet you, I would not be surprised at all if Adesanya like if he fought Pereira took the belt, Adesanya wins his tune-up fight, goes for the belt again, and then lost again. I wouldn't be surprised if he
wouldn't like retire. Well, he'd retire from MMA, but he'd be like, okay, I'm now going to box Anderson Silva. And Anderson Silva.
Me and Andrew Tate are gonna have an exhibition match in Bucharest, Romania. The winner is
Israel. Let me tell you, you're dressed like a faggot. All right, so that's a horrible Andrew Tate.
The winner gets a supercar, and
no, the winner gets like a fucking $10,000 suit that still sucks.
Andrew Tate dresses like an absolute. I mean, No BS though, bro. Seriously, the
Yeah.
dude could fight. That dude
No
could fight.
Yeah, no shit. He was a professional fighter and it's like a respectable level and fucking it doesn't matter if it was Bucharest or Bucharest fucking Bulgaria.
Dude, there it doesn't matter which promotion it was. There's killer kickboxers in Eastern Europe.
Nah, I mean, it wasn't fighting any Croatians, but
I mean, it wasn't for glory kickboxing or anything like that, but
yeah.
still, I mean it. He's a whole.
So you're
nother
saying
topic.
you want to see Andrew Tate versus Alex Pereira
No, I want to see Andrew Tate
battle of
versus
the really
Adesanya
shitty
and
dragon
Adesanya.
tattoos?
Huh?
Battle of the shitty dragon tattoos.
No, I want to see Adesanya and Tate whenever Adesanya retires from the UFC.
You know Andrew Tate would never accept that fight.
Yeah, probably
No
not. I mean,
no way.
yeah,
No way.
he owns a gajillion casinos in Romania. He doesn't need money.
I don't. No, we don't. Yeah, especially like it's one of those like it's not even like doing it for the money. It's literally the Israel Adesanya. Say what you want is still one of the best kickboxers on the fucking planet.
Oh
Maybe.
well, no.
Like
I mean, he
had a-
would destroy Andrew Tate.
Yeah, like he was getting primetime money gigs in Japan before Glory really kicked off.
And he was like in his early 20s then.
Mid-20s, but
Yeah.
because he's 31 and Pereira's 34.
But overall with him, he's got a he where from what I've just seen on chat boards and threads and like certain pages posts on Instagram and stuff, he has really got to stop doing this promoting where he's like gonna act where he's acting like he first of all chill out with the bullshit frozen line. I'm gonna freeze him like Elsa. Please don't ever say that again, please.
Well, you know what his problem is? At the end of the day, he's an anime black. He's just a guy whose personality is I consume anime and hentai and cartoon porn, as Sean Strickland might say. But instead of like, he wants to say it in a cool way and trying to do it in a way where it's like, I'm the champ, I could just say it. But really just comes across is just flat. So it just doesn't have any charisma to it. So he just needs to learn not to be cool. You're not going to be Strickland. You're not going to make a good presser.
Yeah, he's just it's not even that it's weird because he doesn't have like social awkwardness in the sense where like he doesn't know how to talk to people, but he just doesn't say the
style.
he just he doesn't say the right thing ever.
It's a guy who's like, if you think about it, his nickname is horrible for what he is. Because how are you the last style bender? You don't have a style.
Yeah, I mean, what's your style?
I mean, he has a fight style that's good, but he's not.
Let kicks and circling for an entire fight.
Well, no, but think of every walk-in. It's a ripoff of The Undertaker. It's a ripoff of Naruto. It's a ripoff of insert like basic bitch anime.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's gonna come out dressed as Sailor Moon.
Bro, he like, I don't know. I just think that he's done it after the Gastelum fight. He was set up to be like the biggest star that the division had ever seen. He could have blown Anderson Silva's legacy out of the water because Anderson, he was dominant, but he didn't have a personality. He didn't really speak English that well, at all at the beginning of his championship reign. So like Adesanya was set up to be because he's like this cool dude that drives supercars and stuff like that. He could have been the biggest star, but he's screwed himself because he doesn't deliver on these giant promises. And the reality of the situation is that if you do not win by finishes as a champion, you're not going to be respected. Period. End of story. You might be able to get away with like 2 or 3 decisions, and because that's what Usman was doing for a minute.
Yeah.
And then people were like, "Oh, he's not exciting. He doesn't go get finishes." Boom, goes out there, absolutely smokes Jorge Masvidal with the right hand, puts the lights out.
But then again, like we've only had 2 fights since that. or one fight since the Jorge fight, and again went to decision. You know, it's Colby Covington. Or did he fight after Colby again, or was it? Now,
fought-
Colby fought Jorge, and we haven't seen Usman since.
He fought Colby. Then he fought Masvidal. And then he fought Colby again, I think.
Yes. And then Colby fought Jorge.
then
Smoked
just
Jorge. Then Jorge didn't even get a cheap
Poor-
shot.
Poor Jorge Masvidal.
Can't even land a cheap shot against.
Hey, in a street fight, though, Jorge Masvidal is the winner.
No, because Covington held him down until security got. So technically, Covington won twice.
Oh, did he hold him down?
Yeah, he's a fucking Jorge's a fucking street boxer versus Colby Covington, a Oregon State legend, and he had better billing than fucking Ben Askren at Oregon State at the same time.
Have you seen the clip that's been going? Tony Ferguson has been teaching wrestling classes, and there's this video that's going around where they're doing hip throw exercises
Yeah.
and stuff, and he's wearing sunglasses and sneakers on the mat.
Yeah, well,
And it's like Tony Ferguson type of guy to wear sneakers on his own mats.
Have you seen the one where it was Jorge Masvidal was like teaching a bunch of like basic bitch fitness models how to fucking do Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
No.
No, and it was like the stereotype of every fucking like decently attractive girl steps into some martial arts class. Oh, let me show you how to do everything. Yeah, I'll train with you. I'll roll with you.
Yeah, it's gonna. All knows that Dana and the UFC are kind of, and it doesn't even look like they're really trying to address it. They're like in a recruiting meltdown right now, because if you look at the promotion's major stars for the past like 3 years, they're all fizzling out. So, Masvidal's fizzling, Adesanya is fizzling, Max Holloway is fizzling. These are all fan favorites. Stipe Miocic, he's not there no more. Really, I mean, he hasn't fought. I mean, I don't know any other way to put it besides that they're fizzling, and that the UFC has got to start like bringing people in and I mean, they're gonna have to acquire something. They're gonna have to bring some stars in.
Hey, but you're forgetting the other guy in the main card who won the undisputed no contest, Mr. Sean O'Malley, and this is what Sean O'Malley is going to be doing for UFC for the next fight.
Sean O'Malley, I just cannot imagine like having for somebody that's such a big hype train and that someone loves so much, or that people just love so much. He has had kind of a tragic start to his first 4. I mean, he should be fighting for titles at this point.
I mean, he's had like a one injury
I mean,
fight in the no contest. I mean,
yeah, and the Pedro Munoz thing is like his eye was closed whenever he got poked, but still, if you're walking into a hand like that, it can hurt. But he for sure milked it 100%.
Yeah,
100%. He milked it. Like, he wasn't blind. He definitely wasn't. But those kind of pokes like that they do kind of hurt whenever you walk straight into it.
yeah. Well, long story short, we're gonna. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that fight gets scheduled. July 30th might be an opening.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to happen immediately, because I mean, I need to see Sean against like a top 5 after this. I need to see him against after he fights Pedro again, and he's probably going to beat the dog shit out of him. He needs to fight Rob Font.
Yeah,
In my personal opinion, that style, that Rob Font, I think Rob is either 5 or 6 at bantamweight, and stylistically, that matchup would be sick.
I will say this though, real quick. I mean, even if let's say he wins against Pedro, honestly, he could still take his time a little bit. I mean, sure, I would like to see him in a title fight, but let's be honest. He's already driving fucking sports cars right now. He's already getting outpaid. Probably everybody else in the weight class, even the champ.
Oh well, I mean, he has the most money in the weight class by far. He's probably one of the higher paid athletes. Not by the UFC, but just highest net worth overall. He's probably one of the higher ones.
And I guess into a money question, how much does a belt add to how much money you're getting currently for it? Oh, that's a good bet. I mean, if you're already being paid like a superstar and the UFC is already getting their buys, what does it matter?
I'm trying to think. I would guess at this point right now, because there's several factors into how much money you make per fight with the UFC. Tenure is one thing, and how many you've won in a row. If you're a champion, you get pay-per-view points on top of tenure, on top of how many defenses you've had. If you've knocked someone out, there's a ton of different elements that go into the overall equation of that. But if I had to guess, either Oliveira or I would say Oliveira is probably the highest paid champion.
Probably. But Oliveira gets buys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Now it's not just because he submits a lot. It's just, I mean, how many title defenses has he had since Kamara's fought? 2, 3?
He got the belt. He defended against Justin Gaethje.
Yep.
Well, let's see. He beat Poirier to get it.
No, he beat Chandler. Yeah, I thought he beat Chandler to get it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He beat Chandler to get it.
And then Poirier.
Defended against Gaethje.
So only 2 defenses.
Yeah, because he got stripped this last one, but he still won.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to have an intermediate with. I saw one troll
That's
answer.
Really gay that they do that, I think.
By the way,
I think you should be stripped if you miss by like 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, something like that. But that is so lame that they do that.
So I saw this one earlier. Now I'm pretty sure this is just a troll response. But hypothetically, let's say this might be true.
I'm trying to hold on. I'm gonna have to pick it up. Dana White confirmed earlier today that they will be targeting Conor McGregor versus Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight. Oh God! When asked about Islam's place in the division, Dana replied with, "I don't care what."
I'm just saying, probably not true. But if it was, it is
entertaining. Can you send that to me, please?
Yeah, I'll save that.
I wonder how credible that source. Who was that?
Drippy McGregor. So probably not very. It's not like Robbie from Barstool.
Yeah, I don't think I'd probably really doubt that he called Islam a rat.
He only specified the rat part after Islam threatened to go to Fury FC.
Oh yeah, that's Khabib's promotion.
Or Eagle FC. Sorry, Fury's the other Russian
Eagle.
one that has the fucking guy who looks like the fat fucking penguin from fucking Batman. Run it. No, not penguin. Kingpin from Spider-Man. So, by the way, we also got a Bones Jones tweet. So let's see what the angry alcoholic has to say.
Cokehead, wife beater. I'm really not impressed with you or your boy. I've seen you quit multiple times, and your boy almost got flatlined the last time he faced Alex. Both of you guys win your next fights, then I'll be impressed. Until then, keep the name out of your mouth. There's levels. Bitch, dude, no one wants to fight. I almost said John Jones. I almost said Alex Jones.
Oh, John Jones. It's just John Jones has been given contracts. He hasn't accepted any of them.
Yeah, he doesn't want to fight. He would 1,000,000% out of the people that he's been offered by which would, from what I understand, are Stipe, he may have been offered Adesanya at some point. All those people would beat him. I mean, he almost.
Oh, I wouldn't want. I don't know why Israel would want Jones. Jones is like the last person Israel would want to fight.
Yeah, he's rangy. He's rangy and can wrestle.
He has more range than you by 4 inches, by the way.
Yeah.
He's more range. He has to weight it on you. And even though like everybody thinks of Jones as striking, he's one of the few people who could probably take you fucking down because not only is he the range, he has the explosiveness, and all he has to do is get you in a fucking wall clinch. Because he struck a suck on a fucking clinch in the fucking fence.
He and Kamaru Usman wrestled in college together.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know with John. He's done. In my head, he's done. I mean, he might have another tune-up fight here or there, but I don't see he'll never go on another streak again. If he got serious, he obviously could, but he's not going to do it. The clip that I saw most recently that was hilarious was Henry Cejudo calling out Sean O'Malley backstage after Sean O'Malley and Pedro Munoz was over. Did you see that clip?
Yeah. And then Sugar Sun just did the classic Scott Steiner. He's fat. He's fat.
He is super fat, but I think Cejudo would obliterate him.
Maybe
if he started training again and like.
Well, I mean, it's like saying John Jones would obliterate if he stopped drinking
the whole time, huh?
That's like saying, oh yeah, John Jones would be fucking king of the lightweight or light heavyweight division if he stopped drinking.
Yeah, I mean, and stop doing cocaine.
Honestly, the coke's not his problem. The problem is his drinking. I mean, his tweets reflect it. He's what a lot of really bad alcoholics are. They lash out at every little thing that even gets near their name, even if it isn't necessarily negative.
Yeah, it's just hype. It's being in hyper defense mode because he's been. Man, he would legitimately be. True people that look at purely based on skill and like what he did in his youth in the sport and everything. Yeah, he'll probably be considered overall as the greatest of all time. But he's ruined it. But he's not going to be named the greatest of all time simply because of all the bullshit he's done. You know.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
We the UFC needs more personalities like that. I think though, like Johnny Manziel types.
Oh yeah,
it would stir the pot more.
Speaking of this, we also got this little present. Well, we're going to our prep. This is after Israel fights Alex Pereira again if he gets captured.
What do you think the opening odds will be for that fight?
Israel plus 200.
You think he would be a 2-1 underdog?
Yeah.
Really? I bet you will go to a pick 'em.
The only reason, maybe. I could see there being some talk where I could see Israel talk up a big thing that I'm going to give him the grappling performance he never had. But
I meant to say that earlier. That's what I've been trying to think this whole time. Okay. We just assume that that he can't grapple.
Well, he's a fucking Brazilian. There's a like 50-50 chance he's a black belt.
There's a chance that he might go in there and stuff because Adesanya is not a wrestler, and if Adesanya is like, oh, I'm going to wrestle him, he's probably not good enough to take him down.
Which
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, hold on. I gotta send this because I saved it on my Instagram. I'll send it to you real quick. But because the same thing where Glover Teixeira was like saying he broke down, and then like Glover joking, and Glover's like, "What do you do with this?" And he like went for double underhook, and then fucking Alex responded by putting overhook under his, and then somehow getting the fucking back. He's like, "No, I'll do this," and Glover's like, "Okay."
The thing is that Pereira is so naturally strong that if he just got some escape techniques down pat, and like if he sticks to like a couple different traditional takedown defenses,
yeah,
I think he'll be able to do just enough because that's all Adesanya's done. I mean, he has incredible takedown defense. I would have to imagine that Pereira is probably going to have close to the same kind of takedown defense, if not better. But I mean, you never know. We'll just have to see. But I think he's probably got something like sneaky on the ground. Because he's trained, even though he was a kickboxer, he probably trained jiu-jitsu just for cardio and stuff like that,
Well, not just that. Like, you're more likely to run into some form of grappling gym if you're considering martial arts in Brazil than you are kickboxing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, in Brazil, the only other striking, well, would be Muay Thai. Muay Thai is bigger than kickboxing in Brazil.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, the crazy thing was he wasn't even a Muay Thai guy. He was a traditional kickboxer.
I know. I'm saying I was agreeing with you. Like you're more likely to run into one of those gyms than you would be to a kickboxing gym in Brazil.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, he's been eyeing the MMA move for a while, and the moment he thought he could, they streamlined it. So we'll see with that. But let's go over after enough 276. Nothing really interesting in the prelims happened outside. A bunch of people we thought were washed were washed.
Yeah.
If you know. So let's go over and look
Rest in peace, cowboy. Have fun shooting a Henry rifle.
Hey, he's too busy doing a Ben Shapiro movie now. Then again, I would too if I was next to what's the woman they signed that was in Star Wars, and Ben signed her to be what's her name? I'm blanking on it, but anyway, let's go over to the fights tomorrow. Standard fight night. Actually, are they having it anywhere in particular?
There are some sneaky good fights there that let's see. Well, in Chukwu versus Carl Roberson, that'll be fun. That'll be super fun. That somebody's gonna get knocked out in that fight 100%.
It's also pick them too.
I don't really know who the David Onama. I don't really know either one of those guys. Trayshawn Gore, he the guy who's fighting Cody Brundage on top. Yeah, right there.
He's the guy who was he got injured, so he couldn't compete against the Bear guy for the Ultimate Fighter. And then he came back. He's the guy who does the Mike Tyson stare down in the corner. He's fun.
He's fun.
Pride of fucking Myrtle Beach.
Oh, is he really?
He's from Myrtle Beach, yeah.
He fought the guy that he fought, his name was Brian Battle, which is like
Brian the Bear Battle. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Gore was just like not prepared for his like ranginess, because I think if they fought now, Brian Battle is just not that good in my opinion. I don't know what everybody was like on a kite about him for, but
because
whatever.
He wins despite how much damage he takes in round one. He's very good at coming back and getting back on points.
Right.
I mean, so he's the guy who will almost always go to the decision.
But he strikes me as the type to be like a Darren Elkins.
Yeah. Fair point. But you're not excited for Seed Yukib?
Yeah. Who in the world is this Kakramanov?
Kakramanov? I don't know. I'm not very good with Cyrillic last names. Some guy who has a Slavic last name, but not really Slavic. Speaking
of a Romanov, Shavkat Rachmanov.
Yeah.
Favorite animal, horse. Favorite meat, horse. Yeah. That dude is going to be the champion of the 170-pound division eventually. Him versus Hamzat Chimaev will be nuts.
Yeah. And then we have go ahead.
Let's see. And Antonina Shevchenko, that's Valentina's sister,
I don't
right?
know.
I'm almost positive.
I'm assuming there's some relation. Because there's another guy in the main card who's also kind of like that. Or I might be thinking of a different promotion, or the one card coming up next. Oh yeah, it's this one, because we got Nina Nunes.
Oh God, she sucks. Have you ever seen her fight?
I've never actually recall. I don't recall ever seeing a fight.
Oh, dude, Michael Johnson versus Michael Johnson. Dude, he has had the greatest and worst career of all time in the UFC. Wait, what are her stats?
I was looking at a record. I saw that 10-7. I'm like, got a point.
How are y'all? How are they still in the UFC with 10-7 records? I mean, there's Angela Hill who's like 16-14.
I can answer that very simply. Nepotism.
Yeah. Dude, go down. Michael Johnson versus Jamie Malarkey. That is going to be such a fun fight. Michael Johnson has beaten Dustin Poirier, like absolute animals. And then he went on like a 5-fight skid, won his last fight, knocked him out.
Yeah.
So fight against Jamie Malarkey is going to be awesome.
And Michael Johnson is the underdog, by the way.
Let's see. Jared Vanderhaar versus Chase Sherman. Vanderhaar's on a skid, I think.
I've seen Sherman before. He's okay.
Is Chase Sherman that guy? I think he's from Mississippi, like close to where I'm from. I think he's from like Gulfport or something.
That sounds about right. Because I remember him because he had the family crest tattoo and the really shitty mermaid tat. I mean, he has a ship anchor on it. And if he's from Mississippi, there's like only 20 miles of coastline.
Yeah.
So,
let's see.
and then we got
Douglas Silva. Okay, that fight versus Nurmagomedov will be sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say it's the family relations night.
Yeah, really though.
Because we got what, 3 already?
There's a let's see, Nurmagomedov, Shevchenko. I don't know if I saw another one. Oh yeah, and Nunes and Nunes.
Kyle, anybody with a brawl.
Okay, dude, have you seen him, Baralho?
Maybe. Oh yeah, he's the fucking professor. He's the guy who like wears glasses normally, but he doesn't in this.
He has the tattoo across his throat.
Yeah, and he's a fucking like chemistry teacher.
Dude, he is an absolute animal.
Oh, he's fucking good.
Oh, he is.
He's a Charles Oliveira if Charles Oliveira never had to cut weight.
Yeah, I've always wondered what Charles walked around at because he doesn't look like he walks around at much heavier than lightweight. I mean, he might walk around at like what, 170 maybe?
I don't even think that. Maybe like 165.
Yeah. It's an easy cut for him.
Yeah.
RDA versus
he always gets rocked and always seems to do well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, RDA could go in here and just be a veteran and like take him to school. It could happen, but Fazeev is an absolute beast. And like, he's just very well rounded all around. I mean, he kind of reminds me of like a more not as far as not stylistically. I'm just saying as far as well roundedness goes, like a Frankie Edgar almost.
Okay,
I'd
say that's fair.
He's pretty good wherever the fight goes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, and then next fight night.
Now that I cannot wait.
Actually,
that fight is gonna be awesome.
Where the fuck is Elmont?
Wait, what?
Elmont, US, UBS Arena. I don't know.
The UPS Arena?
No, UBS. Oh,
I have no idea where that is.
DuckDuckGo, help me. New York, somewhere. Oh, it's where the fucking Islanders play now.
Oh, is it?
It's on Long Island.
That's going to be an awesome fight. I think Ortega's probably taken a little bit too much damage. I think I would not be surprised if Yair finished him, knocked him out. But it could be like whenever Yair and Korean Zombie fought.
Oh, here's the guy that Haus-o-matic fucking murdered. I remember you.
His own corner.
Also one of the shittiest nicknames in the sport, the Leech. Hey, Matt from Hell Schnell.
Oh, Shane Burgos versus Charles Jourdain will be a fun fight. Charles Jourdain is the dude that did that Spartan kick
Oh yeah.
recently. Sent that dude flying across the octagon.
And
Oh.
this should be. You think this is Bellator, but it's not Bellator fight. Misha Tate versus Lauren Murphy.
It's going to be one of the female fights where they throw jabs from like 4 feet away. Ha 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 ha.
This is what the Jim Miller Cowboy Cerrone fight is.
Yeah.
Same type of shit. Hey, Ricky Simone. I like Ricky.
I also like Ricky. He's cool.
Jack Short's also pretty cool, so that's gonna be interesting. Hey, Billy. Of course, the moment they go in New York. Hey, Billy, can you please come down from upstate to fight in Long Island? This fucker gets like every New York fight.
He doesn't like to travel, from what I understand.
Really?
He does not like to travel.
Was he not like to fly? Is it kind of like the John Madden thing? He's just afraid of flying or something? Or?
I don't really know, honestly. Wait, John Madden was afraid to fly?
Yep, that's why he took a bus everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
That's why we never did the Pro Bowl.
Dustin Stoltzfus, he's good. He's a really sick striker. Herbert Burns. Is that Gilbert's cousin? That's I know they're.
I'm just saying, like the odds of it not being versus the odds of it being.
Gilbert Burns and Herbert Burns. I'm gonna say either brothers or.
Watch it be no relation. None. Just coincidence.
Phil Rowe kind of looks like Neil Magny with a beard.
That's actually not a bad. That's not a bad comparison. And Jessica Pena. What an unfortunate face. No offense to Jessica Pena. And then we have a character we haven't unlocked yet, and Hussein Eskbov.
Those are the ones that you have to worry about, though, because there's no film on them. You look at their name and they're like, okay, this guy is about to wrestle me until the next blue moon.
All right. So that covers that element. Let's go over some of this prep. So Nate Diaz is like, yeah, I'm going to retire. I mean, he needed to. And at this point, he's probably like a year away of doing no-gi jiu-jitsu and getting a coral belt.
Yeah.
I'm not even like how many other people have done as much for American Brazilian jiu-jitsu as Nate Diaz? Like a very short list.
Very, very, very short list. I mean, I couldn't even tell you, to be honest. But Eddie Bravo.
Like I was just thinking, it was like Eddie Bravo and maybe like a handful of the fucking Gracies who came over and founded like the really early studios in New York and LA.
Yeah, but other than that, no one really.
Yeah. So wait, why am I scrolling down?
I don't
got
who it's already July, what, 8th or what's the 9th? 8th?
Today is the 8th.
Yeah, 8th.
Soon to be the 8th.
It's who would you even give them? That's 3 weeks from now. I don't even
give him Pedro Munez.
Well, Pedro Munez.
It's completely different weights.
At 170, I think a good departure fight for him on short notice that would probably take it.
Conor McGregor, if you paid him enough.
I'd say Robbie Lawler.
Well, Robbie Lawler just fought.
Yeah, I know he just fought, but I think he would take the short notice fight because I mean he was upset with how that fight went, and he looked damn good in the fight, and he really didn't
knocked out. Or did he get knocked out, or what's the decision? I forget. No, he did get knocked out. It was in late second.
Yeah, he didn't like the decision on, or he didn't like the call on that. I don't know who refed it, but yeah, at 170. There's really no one for him, but if he wanted to go out on one last cut to 155, which I doubt it, but I'm just saying hypothetically, there's way more potential matchups for guys that would step in on short notice. Like Michael Chandler, he'd take that last second fight. 1,000,000% against Nate Diaz. He's been wanting a Connor fight. It's about the next biggest payday that he could get.
Would he want to risk going up weight classes to fight a guy who is a well-known grappler?
Well, I'm saying if Nate decided to make one last cut to lightweight,
No.
yeah, he probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna, for my last fight, go down a weight class and fight a top 5 contender. No.
Nate would do some
I'm
shit
literally
like that.
I'm literally 4 weeks notice.
Come on, Nate don't give a crap, dude.
I know I think on that he might like give a little bit of a shit.
Yeah,
Hey.
he might.
I know I walk around at 190. Let me I don't know, cut to 155. 4 weeks. Fuck that.
For my I'm already not explosive at all anymore.
Yeah, I only explode out on people from the full Send Boys.
When is the Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman fight? Is that September?
Probably. At this point, who knows? It's a fight that's been scheduled for a year and a half.
I'm so excited for that fight.
They're gonna fight in England twice before that fight.
Are they really?
Yeah, because we're nearing on like UFC London 2 this year.
Yeah. Well, what is the card for that? I'm completely blanking.
I think that's in a couple weeks. Yep, Blades Aspinall.
Oh, Aspinall is going to destroy him.
I love how this is a fight night too, and this is
What are their odds for him?
They're both. It's a pick 'em. Oh, I forgot because Blades won in Columbus when they had that fight night. Same when they had the Matt Brown losing that controversial decision.
Yeah.
And this is basically like, hey Tom, if you beat Curtis Blades, you might get a title shot, or we might stick you a steep.
So you better hope that you win.
Yeah. So then we got Jack Hermanson, the Icelandic wonder, versus Chris Curtis.
Dude, honestly, I love Jack Hermanson. He had an awesome fight again. I mean, Strickland jabbed his face off, but he made it competitive, and he's tough as nails.
Yeah.
I like Jack Hermanson. He's one of those guys that I refuse to hate on.
Oh no, same here. I like him. I'm just saying, like, I was making more of a joke about Chris Curtis.
Yeah.
Hermanson,
Why does Chris Curtis look like Ezekiel Elliott?
I don't know. I wouldn't even say Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, it's close, but I can't think of a good joke off the top of my head. I guess
Patty
the
the Batty against Jordan the Sus Boy Levitt.
I'm going Pimblett all the way.
Yeah, because I mean, like Patty, his past 2 fights, he's struggled because he fought some strikers with some relatively good power. Levitt isn't gonna stand there and strike with him at all, I don't think. And I think even if he did, Patty would for sure have the advantage there because Patty's not a scrub striker.
No,
Levitt's gonna wrestle him, and I think Patty will submit I think Patty's gonna submit him.
He's like this third most dangerous person when he's about to get knocked out. Only Tui Tavasia and Charles Olivier are more dangerous when concussed.
Yeah. Nikita Krylov versus Gustafson's fighting.
I mean, they had to get I guess he's still in USDA protocol.
I guess he had 1 fight left on his contract.
Yeah. Hey, Meatball McCain versus Hannah. Looked like one of the girls who used to train with fucking Ken Shamrock.
Hannah
Ken
Gold.
Shamrock has a bunch.
Dude, have you ever seen Hannah Goldie before?
Nope.
She is absolutely. I don't know if you remember what Holly. Look how
Jesus.
She's built like Joe Rogan.
Hey, the USDA protocol has entered the chat.
Bro, she is so good. Dude,
Miss
she is.
Hannah Goldie, do you know what Anvar is? No, why do you ask? Well,
Have you ever heard of Tyrannoball?
Trinaball.
Yeah.
Have you been eating Trenbolone sandwiches lately?
Travel bologna sandwiches. Like, dude, she is so yoked.
Wait,
I
is
think
it
Molly
US?
can take her though.
Oh, I have seen her fight before.
What is Molly? Is Molly McCann even ranked?
Nope, but if she wins this, she's going to be.
She's got to be.
I mean,
And
they've been pushing her hard. Same thing with Paul Craig. They've been pushing Craig pretty hard lately.
I wonder where specifically, like Patty the Bat. I mean, they don't just stop the ranking system. Technically, there is an order in the ranking after the top 15. I wonder where Patty the Batty and Jordan Levitt are. I mean, they're probably what, top 20?
Probably near the edge of it.
Yeah, they're probably like top 20 or so. If Patty beats Jordan Levitt, let's see, who would he's wait, is he featherweight or lightweight? No, he's 155.
Lightweight, 155. I mean,
Uh,
they're going to make way. So let me just put it this way: the rankings matter until they decide they don't matter. Just ask Alex Pereira.
right. I wonder who because Jordan Levitt is a legitimate contender, like to break into the top 15. So I think it's a perfect matchup right now.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I wonder who they would feed him after that. Pull up the lightweight top 15.
Hold up. So I'm going to the next link. There we go.
Jalen Turner.
Maybe Dan Hooker.
Oh God, dude, that
Actually, no, because Dan Hooker's not even in lightweight anymore, isn't he? Because didn't he drop even further?
I thought he got released from the promotion.
Yeah, you might be right. Actually, he might be in one by now.
Oh my God, what if they feed him Tony? Tony's coming off of a knockout. He's on a four fight skid.
Hey Tony, guess what? You're
Oh
getting
my God.
fucked again. Hey Tony, are you a company man?
Oh yeah. How about you fight a rising star on your last fight of your contract, Patty Pimblett?
Honestly, Patty Pimblett versus Conor McGregor. All I'm gonna say is Dana White's gonna be doing this shit. Because you know that would sell.
Oh well, yeah. Well, the Connor fight would sell. If they put him up against Tony Ferguson, it would sell because it's like one of the most loved fighters by any of the fans in UFC history versus a rising star who has an entire country behind him.
Well, let's be honest.
Very Conor McGregor-esque.
Let's be honest for a second, real quick. The people who love Tony Ferguson are the same people who buy every numbered card.
Right.
I'm just saying, thinking in terms of just the business of it, people will buy a McGregor card who don't normally watch the other paid cards. Patty is quickly ascending into it because he already has promotions outside necessarily like pure, MMA fans. I'm just saying that probably is like the biggest money opportunity. But the question becomes, would Connor accept it? I know Patty would.
Oh, Patty would 1,000,000,000% take that 1,000,000,000%. I think Patty would take that fight. Patty for sure is the guy, and just hear me out for a second. And he's already proven this. He really does not give a damn about the money. And the reason why I say that is because I believe him whenever he said he would have fought Jake Paul for free and all this kind of stuff. And another reason why I don't think he really cares what the UFC pays him is because he's a barstool athlete now.
He got paid $1 million up front by El Prez himself. So I'm just saying, look, but with Connor and there's a difference like being already paid, and there's a difference between Connor versus Patty is probably what guaranteed top 8 all-time card by
Oh,
UFC.
as far as buys go, it would blow.
Because Connor would get over 10. Patty would probably comfortably get over 2.
Oh, easily. Connor would be guaranteed 10 for sure, 1,000,000%. Minimum. With that fight, he would probably make closer to 15 with pay-per-view buys.
And Patty would probably make close to 5.
Yeah, and Pat. From a business standpoint, it makes sense. The issue is that Connor probably weighs close to 200 pounds right now.
I mean, yes, but again, and I stress this. Dana, listen to me. Listen to me real quick, Dana. I know you probably may never listen, but think of it in this way. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, it honestly, the UFC needs a fight like that. That, like, you know, because like used to big giant pay-per-view cards were reserved strictly for championship fights. It's not really like that anymore. I mean, that changed with Masvidal versus who did he literally do? Masvidal versus Covington. Wait, what is this that we're watching? What is this?
Oh, so by the way, this was something I saw on Twitter earlier. Check this shit out. Fucking did you see that at all?
I couldn't really tell what was going on. Hold on.
So
Play it again.
Open guard. Oh shit. Here we go.
Yeah, he's in his guard.
And then up kick. Wait. Up kick.
Oh.
Also, who the fuck is that ref?
Is that that dude, what's his name that used to be a cut man in the UFC? Is that Stitch?
It might literally be Stitch.
It looks like Stitch.
In the fucking Mexican great value. Oh, this is serious part. Never mind. I thought it was like of LFA. Who is that?
That is Stitch.
That is Stitch. What's he doing in this promotion? Holy shit. God, he got big.
Yeah, he did.
Shit. Ricardo Ramirez.
Birmingham won the USFL,
Yeah,
right?
Yep, they did. And we already have our first USFL player signed by the NFL, by the way. Christian
Is
Sam.
that him?
No. Well, yes, the player. But
Christian
hey,
Sam, is he good?
yeah, he was good by USFL. He honestly wasn't the first guy I thought to get signed, but I thought it'd be somebody like Victor Bolden.
Yeah.
Somebody to come in and be a punt return guy. Victor Bolden or Turpin. I thought, honestly, even at linebacker, I thought somebody like Demarius Gates might get signed by somebody who was looking at kind of a bigger, blitz heavier linebacker, because there are a few teams that could really be using that role, and there hasn't been a lot of action on that regard. Now, it's probably something that's going to happen the closer we get to camp. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was something that like the Gallus just wanted to jump the gun.
Yeah.
Because I thought somebody might be going after him. But hold up, I had my USFL stuff ready. To organize this better.
First out.
Whoop, let's mute that. But here's here's Bo Scarborough. Did you watch this game by any chance?
I saw bits and pieces of it. I was working during it.
I feel that. Also, that fucking horrible ankle by that safety.
Bo could. Well, he's too fat to play in the NFL, honestly.
I mean, Eddie Lacy was fatter.
Yeah,
I,
but not for long. I mean, he got cut.
eventually, but I mean, Bo Scarborough. Did you see him like in the locker room? He was still fairly well defined, just maybe a little on the heavy side. That wasn't his problem, to be honest. His problem was, and this is true with a lot of Alabama guys, they just tend to get really beat up. So by the time they get to the NFL, I mean, they're already getting like shit you don't really normally see till your second contract.
Where is the USFL headquartered out of, and who's their commissioner?
That's a very good question. I actually don't know where they're. If I had to guess, this is just speculation off the top of my head before I look it up. Probably LA, right next to their actual Fox Sports headquarters, so they didn't have to spend money on an office.
Was he not way past the line of scrimmage when he threw that ball? Wait a minute.
What, 10, 10, 10?
They were on the
10, 10, 10, 10.
Starts running.
Right.
Bruh.
The right. No, it has to be your entire body. If you have like a toe, it's not.
Okay, I couldn't really tell on the screen, but
Also, the other cool thing, another thing, because if you think about the blocking, it's 6-man downfield. In the USFL, it's 3 yards. You can block them down 3 yards down the field. In the NFL, it's 1.
oh really?
Because college is also about 3, I think. And
College
that was
is
what
three,
the
you said?
XFL did too. And you could also do a double forward pass in a way, as long as the first forward pass is behind the line of scrimmage.
That is so weird to me. I don't really like that, to be honest.
It was the reason why they do it in the USFL for at least how long legal blocking is down the field is with RPOs. It makes a massive difference, and it makes it more RPO friendly. Which, if it keeps the game rolling, the USFL is not going to care. It's not one of those old legacy football rules. And with the double forward pass, it's literally just for trick plays. I think it happened literally one time in the USFL, and it happened something like 3 or 4 times in the XFL in 2019.
Yeah.
Or early 2020. Which, by the way, here's some of the numbers that happened. So, quick tidbit. The most viewership was still the very first game, which was like around 3 million, with it being a new promotion, and they pushed it fairly heavy. So it was like, I think the first game was on a Friday, I want to say. So it was like Friday night, not much else competing with it. It was 2 weeks after the draft, so there was still a lot of enthusiasm for football.
Yeah.
And still at the championship, despite being 7 p.m. on a Saturday night, or no, Sunday night. Sorry, 7 p.m. on a Sunday night. 1.5. It was a great game.
Why does it say USFL Championship peaks at more than 1.8 million viewers, and then it says 1,517,000 viewers? Why does it say that?
That's probably like what the average was, and a lot of people peaked in towards like at the peak was probably when people were checking the score, because I think 10:30, 10:40. That was like right when it became clear that like Birmingham was going to win. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was like highest total viewers, and this is probably highest average, or maybe it's with repeat. I don't know.
Well, on that note, I think we covered a lot of good ground. I am really excited, honestly. Well, as far as the near future goes, tomorrow, it could be exciting, but as far as the near future goes, the big fight is going to be Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez, and I'm excited for that.
Yep, same here. But hey, season 2 complete, or not complete, announced.
So yeah, that USFL they've done good this go around.
Yeah.
They've done really well.
Also, and speaking of other things that happened in martial arts the last weekend, did you see this one?
Joey Chestnut putting them RNC on your ass.
Yeah. Goes back to eating.
Did he win again?
Yeah, he won by 20. Choked the guy and still won by 20. And this is why he's an American hero, folks.
What was that guy even protesting? I couldn't even tell what the sign said.
Factory farming. I think it was that Nathan's is partially owned by Smithfield, and Smithfield meat processing and all that shit.
Oh,
Oh, by the way, Dana, please do not sue me. This is not monetized. I have no following, and this was posted on Twitter multiple times. So
Change our shot over here would be good because he's. Oh!
and the best part about that was look how fucking accurate that straight. The straight is more impressive than that hook.
because he threw it like from his hip almost up.
Not only that, leaning forward as he's falling down, it hits him perfectly in the chin twice. Say what you want about his power. His fucking hand-eye coordination is what's more, because
Run that back again. Run that back.
look very closely. 1 second. Oh yeah, Twitter video sucks. Sorry for the 144p. It's hard to stretch out Twitter video. So look very closely.
That's the one that put him out. That's one that put him completely to sleep.
Yes. So hook. And as he's falling, just
Boom.
right, but look at where it's right on the fucking chin. As he's falling kind of back, like trying to get up, he's still leaning back. And then the follow-up as he's falling down on the fucking temple. And he, like, tried to change it.
I didn't see that second right hand, and it's crazy because Jason Herzog. I mean, like he didn't even have enough. He really did not have enough time to jump in there and stop it faster.
He just
tried.
pat him on the back.
Dude, in my personal opinion, Jason Herzog's the best in the biz.
Yeah. All he did was
does
like
good
touch his kidney
consistently.
and said, "Yo, fam, I think he's dead.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It's clear." And then Sean Strickland tried getting up, and Herzog was like, "Damn, he fucked your shit up." I haven't seen this from you out of quite some time, like since the Usman fight. And then Sean Strickland has his John Jones moment where he's stumbling and he's being held by his loved ones. Please don't go.
He looks like Ronda Rousey after fighting Jessica Nunes. She's just kind of like stumbling around and then just stands there like, "Ooh."
Shit, he looks like glass lights just came on. Please. Also, what is it with the shitty dragon tattoos?
Well, we all know that MMA fighters just have shitty tattoos in general.
This is especially egregious.
It is egregious, and I don't understand like what the obsession is with dragons.
I don't either.
That looks like the dragon from Mulan.
That's what I even think. It's like the one that you like see hand painted on a particularly a southern Chinese restaurant. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And the strip mall. That's not even
Welcome to
owned by
Super
people who are
88
ethnically
buffet.
Han. They're like Korean.
Yeah.
It's like the one that's like hand painted by somebody that they found from like the 1990s. Like they still have their fucking like AOL account painted on the wall. It's like, please, I am. It's like hand painted, and it looks exactly like there's like old 1800s fucking paintings that were like coming over to America that were big at the time.
Yeah.
I already did this one. And remember, this guy is number 6. He's gonna get a title shot before Leon Rocky fights Kamaru Usman at this rate.
Good God. For some reason, I have a hunch that guy's gonna beat the dude that gets French tip fingernails.
Hey, say what you want about John Jones. He wasn't wrong about that part.
Yeah.
And real quick, notice an interesting name on this one championship quick card.
D. Ritter versus Big Dash.
Vitali Big Dash. That's going to be a great fight, by the way. Big Dash is awesome. Notice this name right here.
I can't see. Let's see.
Where
Does
the
that
first
say
one-
Anderson Silva?
Yes. I had to double check.
He's fighting like the.
No, the thing is, it's Anderson Silva, but not the Anderson Silva. It's called We Have Anderson Silva at Home. This is Anderson Silva at home.
Oh yeah.
It was one of those I had to look and I'm like, wait, I thought he was boxing.
Anderson Silva from Wish. Oh, speaking of boxing,
Yeah.
Jake Paul was fighting a guy whose dad beat Lennox Lewis, by the way. And his name is Asim Rahman Jr. He has over 100 amateur fights. He's a heavyweight and he's 13-1.
Yeah.
So Jake is finally fighting a boxer.
Well, you had to the moment that the Tyson Fury's brother one wasn't getting enough buys, and I think that's why it got canceled. Because like I think it got to a point where they reached up the amount of money people are willing to see before he fights somebody for real.
I don't think anybody really cared to watch that fight because, and honestly, Tommy Fury's not good. I wouldn't have been surprised if Jake beat him.
Well, but that's the point. Like it was like kind of like the gimmick fight, like, the gimmick fight wore off by that point. So he's fighting a somewhat reasonable amateur. Are yours is professional 13-1 or is he amateur 13-1?
No, amateur. He's had over 100 fights.
Oh, that's right. That's what it's just it.
And
My
professional, he's 13-1 or 12-1. I can't remember. 13-1, 12-1. I can't remember.
That's
But
still a pretty solid start for a professional career to start.
the guy's good. The guy's not bad from what I understand. I want to watch some film on him, but I mean, if Jake beats him, you legitimately have to stop talking shit because it's like he's finally beat a boxer and a boxer that's a good boxer with good boxing roots. But his dad beat Lennox Lewis for the heavyweight title, for Christ's sake. So, but with that being said, he's still very, very far away from. He thinks he's going to fight Canelo in 2 fights. And it's just like, dude.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. That's not how that shit works. This isn't UFC rankings where they desperately need a middleweight.
Yeah.
What's that? UFC and ABC 3. Is that the? Oh yeah, that one we were just looking at earlier.
The Ortega Rodriguez fight is on
Yep.
ABC.
Yep. Hey, we got Cage Warriors in a week. That's very nice.
That'll be fun.
And then we got I think PFL's on, but let's be honest, who cares about the PFL?
No one.
The PFL has like, oh yeah, here's somebody you might remember from the prelims of a Bellator fight. Oh, not even on Showtime 1, it's on Showtime 3.
Oh yeah, here's a guy that fought on early prelims for BKFC.
No, they don't call those. They're considered too tainted. Everybody who fights on BKFC, you've seen in every BKFC. If you're not fighting at BKFC, you're fighting at some lower bare knuckle fighting in a fucking like alligator wrestling bar somewhere in like Clearwater, Florida. Or like even better, Lakeland, Florida.
Yeah, Clearwater's a little too nice.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's where the Scientology people are in Florida.
Yeah, weirdos.
Hey, but they have nice shit. So
Yeah, true.
I got Tom Cruise, America's Best Actor.
And John Travolta.
I guess that's a consolation prize.
But
at least, I think real quick, I never understood this. Tom Cruise gets bashed as gay, but we've had 80 different John Travolta being gay rumors. There's not a single one about Tom Cruise other than Top Gun 1. And that was because if you think about it, there's a reason why they didn't call that girl back in Top Gun 1 to the new one, because they had no chemistry. Especially considering like look at Tom Cruise with the female lead in Risky Business. I forget her name because they actually dated at the time.
Well, Tom is just one of those. Tom is just like one of those weird famous people that like is so insanely famous and has been for so long that he doesn't really know like how to act. I don't think.
I don't think it's
I don't think
that.
he knows how to like conduct himself in any other way that's not like trying to be. You know, what I mean, he doesn't know how to be normal. Is what I'm trying to say. He has no idea how to be normal.
Well, I mean, but he does a good job of acting normal. That's not the thing with him. I think it's like Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. He could be nailing it broad, but he has to be looking at himself in the mirror.
Right.
I think
Right.
he's just really self-absorbed.
Like
Nothing wrong with it, but
massive ego.
I he could have like he could be. I mean, from everything that I've ever said of the guy, it says really nice to most of the people there. I mean, I don't know exactly how humble, but I mean, it doesn't seem to be like an asshole with people, or at least any of the staff who have ever worked on his movies. And nobody's ever really said anything bad about him outside. He's a little off,
Yeah.
but I, I just he just seems like a guy who's not like a sexual guy. He's just a guy who's like really into himself.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying there. And I mean, there's a lot of people that are like that. Like,
Yeah.
not that they're like sexually attracted to themselves or anything, but they're just not. They're I don't know how to, they're so like mentally obsessed with themselves that they I don't know. It's hard to explain.
I do think it's a little bit like they're attracted to themselves, but they just know enough about social cues not to say it out loud. It's like the people
Yeah.
who say, "I want a so and so version," which is usually like the polite society way of saying, "I want somebody underage." Please do not clip that. That is not me. That is what other people who have said that lean towards. Have to verify this in today's day and age.
Right.
I do not endorse any of these weird fucks, but what I am saying is they do say shit along that lines, and they probably mean, but that is just my opinion. I do not endorse their leanings.
Neither do I.
We're good on that. But yeah, outside that, XFL announced their cities. I think we covered that last video. USFL says they're coming for season 2. We'll see to exactly which progress, but we're probably not going to hear more about the spring football front at least until honestly September, after a bunch of the people get cut in rosters. Outside that, there's been a handful of people who have already signed with the XFL. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a non-compete
Right.
already in place, because the USFL already had a, like Bo Scarborough has a no compete, so he can't go to the XFL.
Oh, really?
Because he was a late addition. A lot of the people who were late additions in the USFL all had to sign a basically a contract that stated that you are in a non-compete. So I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of the extensions of the USFL guys all have it. So you might see a little bit more exodus of talent this year just going to the other league. But yeah, we'll see. Outside that, I think the USFL says they're going to try having like 2 hub cities next year. I mean,
That'll be nice.
I honestly think they're going to break it before. Right now, they're just probably negotiating with stadium authorities, but they're like, look, if I'm the head of the USFL, this is honestly what I'd do. I would negotiate out with Tulane for New Orleans, because I'm not paying the Superdome any money, because they're gonna like they would have your balls in a vice. It's not like the bowl games where they have like 4 historic bowl games in the Superdome.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe if it's available, but like Tulane, because who else is playing in the Tulane Stadium anymore? UAB Stadium is probably where Birmingham's going to be full time the moment they open it up, because who wants to go to Legion Field?
Nobody.
Exactly. Alabama doesn't have earthquakes, but if they did have earthquakes, it would fall in by now.
Except the old timers that remember when Auburn, Alabama used to play there. Oh, let's take a trip to Legion Field.
Well, Vestavia Hills didn't exist yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bessemer was still considered a good community.
Yeah, Bessemer, whew, they dropped fast.
I'm not saying any comments. I was just making a joke.
Yeah, yeah.
But all I'm saying is UAB Stadium, Tampa, USF is building a new stadium, but if for not, Raymond James is on the cheaper side, at least by NFL stadium standards. New Jersey, honestly, I wouldn't put that in MetLife because the New York Guardians flopped so hard in the XFL, even when they did have fans, that they basically were going to have to move the team regardless. So, if I'm going to be say any big particular stadium for New Jersey, the College of New Jersey in Trenton has a football stadium that they could use. They'll probably have solid enough stands that you'd probably fill it every time. And
Dude,
have,
if they were to play at a college, if they were going to play at a college stadium in New Jersey, they would need to play at Rutgers.
have you? Rutgers isn't really near any big area though, and it's also Rutgers.
Dude, I don't think you understand. People from New Jersey think that Rutgers is like the pinnacle of education.
Well, because it's the compared to the other public that is, because it's the only public one that's worth the shit there. No offense to the College of New Jersey, but like, because New Jersey is such an old state, and they had Princeton. That
Yeah.
Rutgers was like the public school option, and even a College of New Jersey exists. It's not Rutgers, but like, nobody really goes to Rutgers for their football.
Used to.
In 1869, back when there was 15 on 15.
Yeah.
To put this in perspective, SMU had more title appearances than fucking Rutgers, I think.
Really? SMU used to be a powerhouse?
Oh yeah, and then the death penalty happened, and then they might have had some stuff in the fucking fuck.
Well, I knew about the death penalty stuff. I didn't know if they had anything prior to that, though.
I'm just saying, like, they have one title when they went like 10 and 11, or sorry, 10 and 1, maybe 10, 1 and 1, and they played 3 high schools, and then have been horrible since. They've had like what, 12 winning or 10 win seasons, and 8 of them belong to Greg Schiano.
SMU is an interesting school because, like, I feel like that they could definitely, or they do definitely have the type of alumni that would actually, like, if the death penalty never happened, they could be a program that is well funded, has a bunch of money behind it, a bunch of support. I don't think it would have ever turned out to be like an Alabama or anything like that, but.
They got really fucked by the Texas and Oklahoma because the Big 12, the Big 8 formed, and the Big 8 was the consolidation to keep Houston and SMU out in a way.
Oh, have you seen hold on, I think David Walks actually sent me this. Have you seen where UVA, and I can't remember, it was like 2 or 3 other schools.
UVA, UNC, Florida State, Clemson was like the rumored. But
I don't know how they would be able to pull that off.
They're about to renegotiate the ACC deal, but on one hand, I could see why they would do it, but on the other hand, I mean, just from knowing how UNC kind of operates, they already essentially control the ACC. Now, so
Right.
the Texas, Oklahoma, and USC and UCLA, so I don't mean shit. But I mean, considering you're going into a strong but not as strong basketball conference where you immediately lose leverage, and your football team, which has barely been treading water, is now going to the SEC East. where you're on par with South Carolina at best in football.
Yeah.
In basketball, you're gonna be competitive, but I mean, outside, like, it's not like Duke's coming with you. And a large selling point of how they've recruited basketball for the years is the Duke UNC rivalry.
Yeah.
And Duke football is arguably worse than Vandy football.
Arguably, I don't know how that's arguable.
They went to a Rose Bowl.
Awful. They're awful in the ACC, and
Hey, fun
at least
fact,
Vandy
Duke
is in
has
the
more Hall of
SEC.
Famers than Vanderbilt.
Duke.
Yep. They have Sonny Jurgensen. Jurgensen, they had a safety from the 40s, and they had another guy who was in the fucking Pro Bowl. I think it's like George McCaffrey or something. Because Duke has the one Rose Bowl they didn't do in Pasadena because it was 1941, and they thought it might be bombed by the Japanese. So they had the fucking Rose Bowl in Durham. Where they got like destroyed by USC or somebody.
Yeah.
Hey, and they won an Orange Bowl in the 70s. Meanwhile, Vandy's program is just depression.
Well, it's a poverty program. All the other teams that fall through the cracks with the ACC deal, like Syracuse, Duke, Vanderbilt, all those teams, they should just form their own, like Notre Dame. Like,
I call it the Big East.
Yeah.
I just made a joke to a guy I work with today. I was like, if you think about it, I can't wait for Duke to join the Big 12 for basketball so we can get a fucking, like, his Oregon State's also threatening to join the Big 12. So I can't wait for the fucking Arizona State Duke 3 in the fucking morning basketball game. Or the fucking can't wait for Oregon versus West Virginia football.
Hey, don't hate on West Virginia. West Virginia in 2007, 2008 was my shit.
Hey, back when the Big East still existed. And they had the same conference as Miami. Actually, well, no, not in 2007. Miami left in 2003.
Who was the head coach of West Virginia that year?
I forget.
Those 2 years where they were raw in the late 2000s.
I forget, but all I know was Pitt broke that team.
Who did?
Pitt. They were on the way to the title, and like they were like a 20-point favorite and lost. I think like 20 points to Pitt.
Holy crap.
Like they were number 2 in the country. They were going to go to the title, and they lost in the last game to out of conference Pitt, who didn't win much that year.
I'd like to watch that game again. I wonder what Pitt's strategy was to beat them.
I just think it was like right time, right moment.
Yeah.
I haven't rewatched that game in a long time, but it's one of the class. It's one of those. It's not like App State, Michigan, where it was competitive to the end, and you just took like big moments. I'd probably say the closest comparison is the one time I want to say 2011 national title season for Alabama, or 2012. The one where they got bushwhacked by South Carolina.
Yeah.
Like that South Carolina game.
Well, hold on, what was I about to say? Crap, I was on the tip of my tongue. I was just about to say something. Oh well. Oh, I thought my phone had died for a second. Well, yeah, outside of that, I'm really looking forward as far as college football goes this year. I'm kind of like really, it's one of the more underwhelming seasons for me going into it. It's like, I don't know. It just doesn't have the same mystique that it used to. It's. I think NIL has kind of fucked with a lot of that.
I don't think it's the
honestly.
NIL. I think it's the conferences themselves because like a bunch of TV deals are coming up. There's not as much of incentive for a conference, and if everybody is just going, just be openly paying, this is going to go back to the like 80s where everybody was a pseudo independent in a way.
Right. But the thing with that, it's like if you were a pseudo independent, scheduling each season, I mean, you would just have to pick a random 12 game matchup each season. It doesn't really even make sense, and it also destroys rivalries.
Notre Dame. You know how many rivalries Notre Dame has?
Well,
They have
who the
more
hell
rivalries than they have fucking game spots, and that wasn't an issue for them. The only reason they joined the ACC was so they could get money in the non-football sports.
Yeah, I mean, who the hell likes Notre Dame anyways? They're a bunch of pretentious fucks.
Notre Dame still has a massive fandom.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like, there are people who like Ohio State. There are people who absolutely despise Ohio State. Neither less, they get eyes. Yeah, they will never leave the Big Ten because A, it's always going to be a good conference, and B, they own the Big Ten for the most part.
Well, the Big Ten, everybody's talking about this ACC dissimulation, this disbursement and everything. The Big Ten is what needs a disbursement because I mean, like, it's just Ohio State and Michigan that's just. Well, I mean, Ohio State, I think needs to be. Well, it does as far as regional goes. It doesn't really make sense to put them anywhere else, but I wish they were in a different league or a different conference.
Hey, that's what you add USC and UCLA for.
Yeah.
I mean, they succeeded, and now the Big 12 is going to add the leftovers of the Pac-12. The Pac-12 has to respond somehow. If they don't in fast enough time, they're just going to add a bunch of Mountain West teams. So, hey, I can't wait for Washington State to be the first winner of the new Pac-16 against Hawaii.
The Pac-16. So we have touched briefly on this before, but as the season is nearing, we're about a month and a half away from college football. Just before you jump in on anything, let me get it all out first, okay?
Yeah.
I cannot think of, and I'm really thinking hard. I cannot think of another quarterback as far as height, family lineage, and potential importance to the program. I can't think of another quarterback in the past 15 years that could even come close to Bo Nix.
Yeah.
At Auburn. Yeah, he was Mr. Alabama football, 5-star. Won 2 state championships at Pinson Valley. Yes, while he was at Auburn, he had 3 different offensive coordinators.
Yeah.
Which isn't ideal for any quarterback.
Well,
but
especially.
But with that being said, who also had 3 different offensive coordinators?
Who?
Just about every single Alabama quarterback that won a national championship.
Yeah, but
because Nick Saban runs through offensive coordinators like a 10-cent hooker.
Well, because they always get head coaching jobs.
I know, but that doesn't negate the fact that all of their quarterbacks have dealt with different offensive coordinators. So people using that excuse for Bo Nix is irrelevant to me. It makes no sense.
How much did that hurt Jalen Hurts?
What, the offensive coordinator
Yes.
situation? Enough for him to go to Oklahoma.
That's not why he went to Oklahoma. He got hurt, and then Tua outplayed him.
Yeah.
And then Tua got hurt, and then Matt, Patriots guy. Oh, I'm blanking on. Guy who is famous for
Mac-
the
You're
cigar.
blanking on Mac Jones.
Yes. Oh, it's such a generic name. I'm sorry that I. But
I
again,
know.
5-star. He had what, 4 different OCs at that rate?
Yeah.
And that didn't seem to be a problem for him.
So my point being is that on top of it, because this injury that Bo Nix has recovered from wasn't some BS injury. It's a serious injury, and so you have that. We don't know how his mobility. We really don't know because there's not a ton of practice footage on him that Oregon has released recently. So
Have you been listening to the quarterback
if
conversation?
he does, in my personal opinion, if he is not the number one passer in the Pac-12 this year, this is what has to happen. My opinion, for him to get drafted. If he doesn't end up being the top passer in the Pac-12, if he is not like a top 5 Heisman contender,
he won't be.
And he has to throw for like 3,500 yards or more.
He might get the last one, but the first 2, he's not going to be the best. He's not going to have the most volume stats because you're in the division that Washington State exists.
What does that have to do with his volume?
You're not going to be the top passer in the Pac-12 when Washington State passes 95% of the time.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. Like, they just got a transfer guy who threw for like 7,000 yards and something like 15 games. and some like from a Carnate Ward. So they got like one of the best JUCO guys in the country. They're going to give him a ridiculous number of attempts.
If you're a quarterback at Washington State, you might as well just get ready to have Tommy John surgery.
I mean, basically, like, the whole reason why Gardner Minshew went to Washington State over Alabama to be the backup at Alabama was like, would you rather sit in the back of a team and not get any draft thing, or would you rather be the leading passer in the country? That was the sales pitch.
Well, my point exactly. And to be honest with you, I think the kid from UCLA beats him out. I think the kid from Washington State beats him out. I think Bo Nix. I think he'll finish top 5 probably, just purely based off of how weak. I mean, but here's the thing: the Pac-12 they produce great DBs out there.
Well,
so
Washington does, but
yeah, but still, I mean, even though the defenses are going to be weaker, I think he'll be a top 5 quarterback in the Pac-12. But I don't believe that's enough for him to get drafted. Everybody's like, all of my friends, and even I don't know if you still think this, but I know you thought this at one point. All of my friends think that because he was here's the thing: the NFL. I'm sorry, they don't care about the current NFL. They don't care about 4 or 5-star rankings in high school anymore. They don't.
5 stars they do, because there's only so many 5 stars a year.
But Griffin, whenever you're a 5-star that goes out and does that, and you cannot. I don't care who you are. Okay, let me play this out. Say Bo Nix had the freshman year that he had, which he didn't have an awful freshman year. He beat Alabama and he beat Oregon that year. So say he had that year, that's fine. He's a freshman playing in an extremely hard conference. Second year, he goes out. So sophomore year, he goes out and just absolutely murks everybody. He's a destroyer. Still, the team is mediocre, but say he had a great season. But last year he bombed. He could have gotten drafted, in my opinion. But the thing is, he has consistently had mediocre season. Freshman year is acceptable, but if you don't develop, typically by quarterback standards, typically
if you have not developed by at least the midway point or latter half of your junior season of football, you're pretty much screwed.
It's not good, but you can still theoretically have a massive jump in like Joe Burrow.
I mean, but try to think about who had 3 awful first seasons of college football and then still got drafted at quarterback.
Donovan McNabb.
He had 3 seasons where he threw for under because
Yeah, you did. And then his like
season
senior
high so
year at
far is like,
Syracuse, he popped off.
1,800 yards.
Yeah, like he
What?
was horrible his first 3 years, but he was highly recruited, and then he did really well his senior year and went second overall or third overall, I forget which.
I don't. He went second or third overall. You said,
Yeah,
the first round.
yeah, he was after Tim Couch.
I don't see it happening because he's also
Like
going to
Vic.
be in one. He's also going to be. That's not true with Mike Vick.
Like Vic had one,
and that he's a
freshman year,
completely
and then
different
injured the last 2.
animal than Bowden.
Oh, different animal. You know who?
He had at least one good year though. Bo hasn't had one good year, and then you really think that NFL scouts are going to look at him and be like, "Oh, well, he transferred from Auburn where he had a below mediocre career and to Oregon, and he finishes 4th or 5th in the conference in Oregon.
Hey,
so yeah, let's draft him.
So
I don't see that happening in any reality. Now, could he possibly get picked up on as a free agent, or could he go walk on somewhere? I'm sure he could, but I don't think that they're going to waste a quarterback draft pick on Bo Nix. I don't see that happening.
So you know who actually
I get passionate about that
him.
But
you know who's the closest comparable? He's Shea Patterson.
To who?
Shea Patterson. He was at Ole Miss. He also beat Alabama. He also transferred after 3 mediocre seasons in the development to a big school, and then played horrible when he actually did transfer. He still was drafted because he was a 5-star guy who went to Ole Miss, who then eventually went to Michigan.
Did he get drafted at quarterback though?
Yeah, quarterback in like the 6th or 7th round.
I don't know. I really don't know because this is which would be this upcoming season. This upcoming season has a stronger quarterback class than last season for sure, 100%.
Yeah, but even if it's a stronger class, people are still going to be looking for people who could potentially be a backup. And if not, at the very least, like you don't think there might be one team who might draft him just for basically being a glorified practice squad player? So do
you basically see his career being like he gets picked up in the 6th round and then he plays on as a 3rd string for like 2 or 3 seasons, then retires and becomes an insurance salesman?
Oh no, I think he gets drafted and gets cut in his first camp, and then eventually becomes the future quarterback of the New Orleans Breakers.
So you see him going to the USFL or XFL?
Again, Shea Patterson. He's exactly like he's a lot of ways like Shea Patterson. Over reliant on athletic talent.
I think Shea Patterson has way better arm talent than him.
I'd have to look at it side by side.
And Bo Nix's footwork is horrific. Still terrible. It's still awful.
So is Patterson. I can answer a lot more for Patterson than I can Nix.
To be completely honest, with Auburn, they haven't had a quarterback that you look at him and it's like, okay, this guy's a gamer. He gets fired up. They haven't had that since Cam Newton. Nick Marshall, he's he was a quiet guy, didn't really talk a lot. What's his name? Sean, what's his name? With the red hair. He was there our freshman year of college.
You mean Sigma News drug dealer?
But
Sean White. Sorry, not Sean White. It wasn't Sean White. The Elite 11 MVP. who was
Yeah.
supposed to be the next big thing, and then kind of got screwed over by Gus, and then they eventually said, "Man, I don't like this football thing. I'm gonna sell drugs to everybody on Old Row."
But he so co- I've been telling people ignore don't think about this from a skill perspective. I'm talking about purely from personality. Auburn needed somebody, has needed somebody for a long time, like Jake Coker. Jake Coker would get fired up, dude, and he was just an animal, and he had balls. He would run through people. He was a freaking pocket passing quarterback, but he'd still tuck it and run sometimes and run people over. It was awesome. Auburn needed somebody like that for the longest time. And I think Brian Harsin made a really awesome move with going after Zach Calzada, because Zach Calzada is like that.
Yeah,
and I like him.
Yeah, no,
I
like
really
that.
like
He's going to be the starter. I liked him in the Alabama game. Now, I still want to see more from him. And honestly, this year I have some doubts with the receiving core in general.
Oh, the receiving core does not look good.
It
But
looks horrible.
but with that being said, I think we're going to see a lot. I don't know, actually. I've been thinking the past couple weeks that what to anticipate with this upcoming season offensively, and I was thinking for the longest time that we're going to get back to RPO.
We have to.
But I don't think so. I don't think we're going to anymore.
Why not?
Calzada's not as talented of a runner as Bo Nix was.
Doesn't matter. You don't have to completely always hold it with your quarterback on RPO.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
I mean, you don't have to be the most talented runner to your RPO because you're reading a free rusher anyway. You could always slide.
Yeah. And, another thing about Calzada, it's really surprising that we picked him up, because once he beat Alabama, but injured, by the way, his left shoulder was completely numb, finished the game. Dude, I'm so excited about him, actually.
Yeah.
He was worshipped at Mississippi State. Worshipped.
You mean Texas A&M?
I mean, Texas A&M, excuse me. But still, it was really, really surprising to me that he left Texas A&M. Really surprising.
Because they wanted the other starter and they had another guy coming up, and they basically said, "You're probably not going to be the starter here. We only like you as a backup."
Right.
That's my theory. But, we'll see. Honestly, last little prediction I'll do about college football before we start wrapping up here is I think the sneaky team in the SEC this year will probably be South Carolina. Because South
I was
Carolina secretly has a decent amount of talent.
I'm gonna throw a curveball. Actually, it's really not. It's really not a curveball from X's and O's standpoint, but it's a curveball because they say it's their year every year. I think Tennessee is going to surprise a lot of people. I really think they will.
Who's on defense?
Do what?
Who's on defense? That's my only answer.
A lot of low 4 stars and 3 stars.
Welcome to the SEC. Every Vanderbilt, if they didn't have as high of an academic standard, could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even joking. Because Arkansas probably can boast a similar amount, maybe a little bit more 2 stars, but Arkansas can probably boast that.
Yeah, I think oh well, as far as SEC West though, I think there's a lot of potential for a few teams out of the SEC East. I think South Carolina will probably have a pretty good year. I think that Tennessee has potential to have a pretty good year. But another two teams that I think are going to be slept on this season, in my opinion, are Arkansas and Kentucky.
I think Kentucky's properly kind of recognized at this point because they've been like the upset team every year for 5 years now.
Yeah.
Also South Carolina, it's kind of like with a newer coach because how long has Mark? I'm blanking on his name. His brother was at Oklahoma, and he's now the coach of the Dallas Renegades.
Oh, good Lord. Stoops.
Mark Stoops has been there for so long at this point. He's done consistently well that they're always like considered the upset team.
Yeah, but I mean, their recruiting has gotten better too.
So South Carolina.
Yeah.
South Carolina I'm gonna put money on this when I get this closer to the draft. I think South Carolina is going to probably be third in draftable talent this year. Out of the SEC.
From the SEC?
I think only Georgia and Bama will be higher.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that. Teams that I
half
think
that defensive line, Cam Smith, probably the other corner as well, if he also declares, the receiver they just got from JMU and the tight end.
I think teams that you can expect to see digress, in my opinion, will probably be Florida.
Yeah, they'll probably have a rough year.
I would say probably Florida. I really want to say LSU, but I really don't know. Brian Kelly's just such a fucking weirdo.
I think they'll be fine. They have enough high-end talent.
Yeah, really, I think Florida will be the biggest digression, and I would say Auburn, but at this point, I really don't know. I mean,
honestly, I could see having
the talent is there defensively. That's for sure.
Honestly, who probably will have a solid regression next year, but it will kind of get underreported because they're still going to probably win 9 games. Georgia.
You think so? I mean, they just had a gajillion players picked.
But it's not just that they always reload, but it's kind of like they won like every now and then where Bama will have a really weird year because like they lost half their almost all their leadership. So
yeah,
Nakobe Dean was a massive part of that defense. You lose him. You lose they still have both their corners, but you do lose your main safety in the back end. You lose your backup linebacker. You still have Nolan Smith, and you still have Adam. I know Anna Anderson declared too. So you still have Nolan Smith, and you still have Carter on defense. And they're still going to be surrounded by talent. But I mean, you still lost the guy who was the main communicator in the defense. You're still replacing something like 40% of a defense, like all-time defense. You're still in your offense. You're kind of limited because you do have talent at tight end, and you do have talent on the line. And you're going to be able to run the ball, but you're still kind of limited because your quarterback's Bennett.
I tell you, I wouldn't mind. I don't know how much money we have left. We probably have plenty of money, honestly, because I mean, we're still. I think I don't know if we owe Gus Malzahn any more money, but I mean, we just offered Bruce Pearl a massive basketball contract. Brian Harson's contract wasn't light. I would not mind this being a sacrifice year for Brian Harsin, and us undoubtedly we would probably, considering how the market is right now, every other team pretty much has coaches. There aren't any major programs that are looking to get rid of their coach anytime soon besides us if we have another mediocre year, because I mean the alumni already hate Harsin. We would pretty much undoubtedly get Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
And I would that Hugh Freeze hire would be like when Saban got to Alabama for us.
Yeah. For Hugh Freeze, I don't like his offense, to be honest. Or I guess I'm saying it from a draft perspective because most of this quarterbacks don't actually read defenses.
Hugh Freeze can beat Saban.
Well, so did fucking how to get your offense nerfed in 1 year. Gus Malzahn.
Yeah. Well, Gus over the course of his entire career, let's see, he beat him once as a coordinator at Auburn and twice as a head coach.
Yes, but like I'm not gonna like set Auburn's program just by how much we beat Bam. I mean, I know that's kind of sacrilege of saying to a degree, but let's be honest, like sure, you occasionally beat your rival. That's why it's called a rivalry. There's an element that's home field advantage and having talent can carry large sections. I mean, Tuberville survived off talent despite multiple years of failing below expectations. I mean, shit, like Ed Orgeron was one of the greatest recruiters of talent the SEC had ever seen.
Yeah.
And he beat Bama like once, and he won a national title. And within 2 years, even though he got close, and he did a better job than most people usually do against Nick Saban.
What's really interesting about Ed Orgeron is that if you look at his career at LSU and Gene Chiswick's career at Auburn, it's almost identical.
Yeah. Except the difference is Hugh Freeze, Ed Orgeron was actually also a phenomenal recruiter at fucking Ole Miss and recruited draftable talent.
I tell you, I wouldn't mind Brian Harsin and Gene Chiswick being on a coaching staff together.
Gene Chiswick being shit out of that.
You would hate it.
Hey, I'm Gene Chiswick. I like 5'9" corners. He picks fucking corners like you're like looking. I like that one particular dog at the pound because it begs extra hard and it's nice.
Yeah.
Like, no, my problem with Chiswick was he had too many types and he never changed enough and he didn't differentiate. Like at least with Harsin, like he was willing to change his offense several times during the year, kind of accommodate for his talent. Did it work as well? No. But last year I blend most of it of just half the talent gave up and the other half wanted to continue. And this year is going to be a foundation year. But yeah, we'll see. I think the offense will be better and a little bit better. And I think the defense will be fine.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, that is what it is. All I gotta say is we live in interesting times. These conferences are shifting. We have no idea what's going on. All I know is the ACC rumor or ACC to SEC rumor was done by a swimming coach or a swimming reporter. Which nobody refers to that part. But outside that, I mean, I've heard the Big 12 is looking at massive expansion by picking up people of the Pac-12. I've heard things that were supposed to be come true and not come true. I heard Baker was a Seahawk like 5 times over a week and a half span, ultimately for the Panthers to say, we will probably give you, will ultimately be a comp 4th round pick.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm going to say this right here and now. I think the Carolina Panthers finished with a better record than the Tennessee Titans.
I could see it.
The Tennessee Titans were the number 1 seed in the AFC last year.
The fact that Baker Mayfield basically got traded for a bag of chips.
He got traded for
a 6th round draft pick.
He would have been traded if he did not make that fucking letter. If he didn't make that letter, if he didn't make his displeasure well known, he could have leveraged the fact that we don't know if Deshaun Watson might be suspended the whole year, even though he probably won't. And then they could have gotten the fucking first out of it.
Is Deshaun still dealing with what? Is he still dealing with like sexual assault allegation? What is the deal there?
They Bill Cosby'd him. they swarmed his office with multiple cases and they pulled out more because a bunch of people saw HBO and said, "Oh, I was sexually assaulted. I didn't know this until the HBO documentary."
Well, is he? I'm asking, is he like? Has he settled these cases? Like, what
He
is the
settled
deal?
20 of the 25. And there's 5 left he's fighting, but I think the 5 that he's fighting are of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? They have the most weight behind it, but it's only in civil. It's no criminal left, I believe. That or maybe a handful of civil or a handful
So
of
he.
criminal.
So wait a minute. So you can go to civil court for sexual assault
Yes.
and settle it in civil court.
Yep.
So basically, Deshaun's been cutting checks. Basically, is what he's been
He
doing.
cut 20 checks to whoever, but let's be honest. Uh the part that I always found suspicious about this, and I think the only reason he even cut those checks was because this was like after a bunch of the rumors said he was about to get suspended for the whole season for the year, and this was a piece of the NFLPA, which is
Right.
usually a good idea. But let's put it this way: so you're saying this guy who's a quarterback of a franchise was going across the entirety of the Houston metro area, which is like 60 fucking miles, to get a rub in type places, and a guy who had no known history of this, at least well-known history of this type of behavior, and a guy who was usually pretty good about keeping his image, wouldn't sign a fucking NDA.
Yeah.
And look, none of the original 20, I think, passed basic criminal court investigation. So now it's just civil court, which is probably honestly more on the I might go after you for damages because you ruined my reputation type shit.
Right.
I don't
Well,
know how much of that is. How much the settlement in civil court was there is no criminal charges, but we'll give you something for your efforts if you drop it.
I think Baker will really enjoy being in North Carolina more. I think that fan base is a lot more conducive to who. In North Carolina, they have like a mid-20s young, a huge young and mid-20s scene there, you know, and
Well,
the fan base is fairly young, so I think there will be a lot of people that get behind him. He'll be named the starter, right?
I mean, it's him or Sam Donald or Matt Corral.
I honestly, I love that 3 quarterback lineup.
So you have Baker
They're all
Mayfield.
good. They're all good.
2 of them are good.
Matt Corral's good, dog.
I wasn't saying he was the bad one.
Who are you saying, Sam Darnold?
Yeah. Like Mr. Lego policeman himself.
Why is there Darnold is not
He's a tight end who plays quarterback.
he's not bad. He's not
Did you
bad.
watch him last year? That motherfucker is trash.
There are better out there.
Better quarterbacks? Yeah.
He's better than Bo Nix.
Oh, what a high bar.
So just saying.
And I'm just saying, CJ, he plays at the same level as the CJ Beathard. You laugh, but Beathard can at least operate an offense without panicking, pooping his pants, and throwing a pick six.
Spilling spaghetti all over himself.
Spaghetti, yeah, he does. I mean, he's a really athletic guy who his one special ability is rolling out and then throwing to an open guy. The NCAA 14, I don't know how to operate an offense fucking starter pack. And that's it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's just, unless he makes major upgrades, he's going to be a backup player or worse, future XFL MVP.
Sam Darnold?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, he has a lot of talent. I mean, there's a reason why he went to Elite 11 despite only like 1 year of football.
I could see Sam Darnold just like blowing up, like
getting fat as fuck like that one quarterback from Kentucky in the early 2000s?
Oh, no. He ain't hefty lefty. He ain't Lorenzo. Oh,
Did Hefty Lefty, like from a technical standpoint, did he have like legitimate arm talent?
oh, he had ridiculous arm talent. He was really big, really mobile for how big he was, and had a crazy arm. But that was kind of about it. I mean, there's a reason why he was a career backup in the NFL for like a decade. You know, a lot of talent.
Yeah.
But
Didn't he pass away?
yeah, he passed away because he was like 500 pounds. But no,
I'm
Sam
not
Darnold's
trying to laugh.
not the. It's okay if you laugh. Who cares? He's dead.
He was so fucking fat, man.
He was very fucking fat.
He just ate his life away. What was the name of the dude on the 85 Bears team that just died recently?
Refrigerator Perry. William Perry.
Huh?
William Perry.
No. He was the loud, obnoxious one. He was a white guy.
Dan Hampton.
Huh?
Don Hampton. Dan Hampton.
Hold on, let me find him.
He died. I didn't even know he died. Mr. Hall of Famer, the guy that got JJ Watt was compared to when he was coming out.
It's not Brian Robinson.
Talking about the fat guy who had the McDonald's commercial.
Uh-huh. Jim McMahon was a quarterback. God dang it.
Oh, quarterback. Yeah.
No. I'm not. That's not who I'm referring to.
'Cause didn't
See
he
Dan
die recently,
Hampton.
too?
No, it was not Dan Hampton either. Hold on, I gotta just pull up the whole roster. I'll recognize it as soon as I see it. There's roster because it's gonna drive me crazy until I figure it out. Let's see. Not Singletary.
No, he's very much alive.
Steve McMichael.
Yeah, I wasn't as familiar with Stephen Michael's career, to be honest.
He was awesome.
Well, I will say this though. I will say this. Baker should have better opportunity for Carolina, but he is better than Lego policeman Sam Darnold, who still needs to learn how to play quarterback.
Yeah, I think he'll for sure be the starter.
Baker will be the starter. He should be in like a stable situation. It's probably more similar to his very first NFL roster in terms of the talent they have, except well, to be fair, even though you have an upgrade over Jarvis Landry, really your next best receiver you have is Robbie Anderson, then your homeboy, who was the number 5 receiver at Cleveland when he left, but he was actually like a consistent slot before they started adding talent to the receiving core, Hollywood Higgins. It's a guy I liked or still like. But I mean, you have a recently reshuffled offensive line. You have a rookie at left tackle. Morton's a good right tackle. And then you have a bunch of kind of question marks in the interior, at least with that system. And sure, you have Christian McCaffrey for the 400 snaps before he inevitably gets hurt at this rate.
I'll tell you a team that's going to surprise a lot of people, in my opinion. The Jets.
They should, but it really all hinges on Zach Wilson not being a potato this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the secret. They have a bunch of okay to good pieces now across the roster. It's time to fucking use them.
The Raiders have their first woman president in NFL history.
Yeah, you know why they picked her? She's like the former head of the fucking sports association for Nevada. So it's literally like the Vegas crowd.
Oh, really?
She like it's either the stadium authority or the fucking like game commission.
I didn't even know that.
Yep. Well, that was like it was buried into the lead. But that's how usually it works. Like they get somebody who's connected to one of the authorities to do it so they can get sweetheart kickbacks. So they put it on as virtuous, but really they picked who could give us the most clout. Because at the end of
Right.
the day, the owner, I mean, not Mark Davis. No, it is Mark Davis. Mark Davis is going to make all the decisions.
And it was also a perfect opportunity to be inclusive.
Oh yeah, it was right there. Now, if they can get somebody who can prevent their star players from filming themselves committing crimes and not running into the back of Priuses at 170. Hey, but he was a speedster.
Oh
And
man.
you know what the crazy thing is? I guarantee you this: in 3 years, Henry Rugg will be playing on a team.
So say that again?
I think in 3 years he'll be starting in an NFL team.
You think so?
Oh yeah, it's Vegas. You don't think you can get a really high-end DUI fixer? I mean, being the cynical asshole of it,
Right.
you don't think you'd spend he'll probably spend the vast majority left on that rookie contract to be smart and get the best ticket fixer in the state of Nevada, which this isn't California. You don't have shitty track record of lawyers in Nevada. These are the people who kept getting John Gotti off in the fucking legal sense.
Yeah.
You don't think you're gonna bring in some fucking heavy hitter and say, well, you see, it was a Prius, it was going to explode anyway.
Right.
I'm sorry to the person who died. I hope you're doing better in heaven. But I'm just saying, Henry Rugg runs 4.28. He didn't run a 4.28. He runs a 4.28 and he has solid hands. I want him on Baltimore. And I promise he'll never drive ever again.
Yeah.
Also, I think his mistake was I wouldn't be surprised if he was because I know he declined, or I think he might have declined a report, but we went to the hospital. They did a drug report and they never released it, which probably means his legal team had already tried to seal that shit the best they can before trial. Because I wouldn't be surprised if he was not only heavy drinking, but probably threw in a street Xanax.
Yeah, probably.
Which is, let's be honest, half of that street Xanax now is pressed fent.
Well, duh.
Well,
That's all,
especially
and they're all pressed pills.
oh yeah, especially in Vegas. I don't care how high end you think it is.
Oh well, Vegas is where all the cheap shit is.
Oh yeah, Spirit.
It's Vegas.
So that's why Spirit Airlines always goes there.
Well, I think wow, this is probably our longest recording ever.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it's just about 3 hours.
Well, I'm going to chop off like 5 minutes until we get post Bedford. Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh yeah, we got to chop off Nathan Bedford Forrest. Oh, we got to chop this
Yeah.
off. Okay, yeah, you're gonna have to cut this out. Damn it, you're gonna have to cut this out too. But anyway, okay, starting up. Yeah, I mean,
forward to this
I'm
one.
glad we covered a lot. I'd be down to get another one in after at some point after the fight night tomorrow night. I think it'll be a surprise. Most of the fight nights recently have been better than the pay-per-views. So,
Well, we had UFC London 1 was a better fight night. It was the best fight night by far, and only 275 was a better card this year. And that was a
right,
paid card. Nobody had that good of it. Like the expectations were kind of mad because it on paper didn't look like the greatest card, and it ended up being better than 276 was the card they've been hyping for months as fight week.
right.
So, I mean, it's funny how that works sometimes
It is funny how that works.
because 275 was the best paid card I've ever bought. And then,
Oh, for sure.
and I had no hope on
Yeah,
it. And then I had all the hope for 276. And outside the Volkanovski fight, the Pereira fight technically delivered.
it
You
was.
get a no contest, then you get your fourth your second fight stretch, which is what every fucking fight night did, or not fight night, main card second fight is. Then you get a first round knockout, which is nice, and then you had 2 fights that went the distance. And really, if it wasn't for Volkanovski being, one of the best people we've ever fucking seen, it would have been a snooze fest.
In my opinion, if they don't bounce back with the pay-per-view in September with Usman and Leon Edwards, I mean it's gonna be looking bleak for the year as far as pay-per-views go. But as far as fight nights go, probably the best it's ever been. I mean, this is the potential that's coming to those pay-per-views is awesome.
Oh, there really hasn't been that many bad fight nights so far this year. It's been like very few, honestly. Most of them have been better than advertised.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I think it'll pick up. I wouldn't be surprised if the Leon Usman one picks up just because Usman hasn't fought in a while. But
Yeah.
we're also due for another probably intermediate, or we're already going to get an intermediate heavyweight, I think, before the end of the year. So we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to end recording here in a minute, folks. So please check out, share. Any suggestions, please leave a comment. Hateful ones especially.
Constructive criticism is always welcome.
Or non-constructive, depending. Any criticism, really. At this point. And please check up. We'll have another one up next week. We'll probably work out, honestly, Wednesday, Thursday sound good for you, Ethan?
Yeah.
All right. Honestly, preferably Wednesday for me. And
That works.
All right. We're going to pause the recording.